Welcome aboard Imagination Skyway and happy holidays. The past few years, I've made a habit of spending the last episode of the year or the first episode of a new year, depending on the timing, talking about some of my overall thoughts and wishes for you for the previous year and the year ahead. And I wanted to take the opportunity today, as we are rapidly approaching the start of Christmas and Hanukkah and the middle of the holiday season, to address some of my thoughts as we look back on 2024 and look ahead to the year 2025. Of course, this is all depending on when you're listening to the show, but even if you're listening back, as so many of you do, and this is no longer the 2024 holiday season, I still hope the message for today resonates with all of you. And I'm going to keep today's discussion brief. I just want to talk about 4 overarching themes as we move into the new year. And I want to conclude with a quote from what might be a relatively obscure movie, but still in the Disney space, that summarizes a lot of what I'm about to discuss and encompasses my feelings as we move into the new year. So let's move through some of my 4 ideas, my 4 takeaways from 2024, and how they tie into the new year in 2025. So let's start with number 1. My first takeaway from 2024, and something that these are all personal things that I am trying to do more of, is first to find ways to do more for others. And we often think about this as traditional charity work. We go and volunteer at a local soup kitchen. We speak loudly about the causes that mean the most to us. We donate to charities and organizations that are doing the work that we wish we could do. But we often miss doing more for others within our immediate circle. And so I want to mention and request that you think about doing more for others in your immediate circle. This could be your closest family, your closest friends, your closest colleagues, your neighbors. Find a cause that matters to you. Start in a small way by donating your time, your energy, your income. And don't feel like you need to change the whole world, just the world right around you. Perhaps you have a family member who's struggling. Take some time with that family member and help them through it. Even if they're not your favorite family member, your favorite friend, if there's something that you feel you personally can do, take the time to do more for that person. It's not only going to help that individual, but pay itself back tenfold with yourself. It's all a way that you can improve your world for those around you and for yourself. So in the smallest of ways, find ways to do more for others around you, and then extend that. If you want to move into the space of causes, start with something very small for that cause. It doesn't have to just be donating a few dollars. There could be an investment of your time, your energy, helping to educate others, whatever it might be. But start with something very small as a small volunteer and contributor in the lives of your family and friends around you, and for those causes that mean the most to you. Number 2 is to find ways to take better care of yourself and enjoy the journey of discovering who you are and who you want to be. The older I get, the more I realize, and I know that those of you listening who are older than I am have probably earned this wisdom a long time ago and are thinking that I'm way behind the curve on this one. But it's amazing how we are constantly, especially as we're younger, thinking that there's an end state of happiness, that we're going to reach a certain milestone or a certain goal, and from that chapter onward, we reach our peak happiness. But the true joy and the true happiness is not in that milestone, but in the process of discovering who we are and who we want to be, which all comes back to appreciating everything we have around us in the moment and appreciating everything we've done so far to get us to the point we are right now, and to continue to look forward to what we can accomplish as we move ahead. And in this pursuit, I want to remind you not just to lean into your passions, but also into your interests. It's one of the best pieces of career advice I ever got. Not to pursue your passion, but to pursue your interests, the things that drive your curiosity. It doesn't have to be the thing that brings the greatest joy to your heart, but the things that do bring you a sense of curiosity and interest. And for instance, you all know that my passion is Disney, but I have so many other interests, including world history, personal finance, literature, and many of you might not even know because I don't take the time to talk about politics, but I spend a solid few hours a week learning more about national and global politics. So lean into the things that bring you the greatest interest. Take at least a few moments each day to care for yourself as well, whether that be through meditation, through prayer, through exercise, through art, music, literature, spending time outside, whatever it is that brings you a sense of joy. Which ties into my third point for moving into the new year, which is for us as a society and as individuals to move more towards a state of equanimity in every aspect of our life. And equanimity is finding that mental, personal balance in our lives. And a big tie into this is to spend less time with social media. Thanks to social media, we tend to live in a state of extremes. And I don't just mean that politically. I know that because whenever I spend a little too much time on social media, it impacts my mood, my outlook, and my perception of the world. It makes me more cantankerous, less grateful, more tired. I know it's ironic for someone who posts on social media to recommend spending less time there, but it's one of the many reasons I've actually moved a lot more content to Patreon. Not the only reason, but one reason. I want to be a better servant to what I recommend here, and I find that spending more of my time on Patreon and less of my time on social media has greatly impacted my mood in a very positive way. It's allowed me to deliver much greater content to you as well, but it's given me a greater chance to live in the state of equanimity in addition to meditation and prayer and every other aspect of my life that I use to move to this state of balance. But the main message here, I think I say this every year, but turn off social media every once in a while. It's so easy. It's right there on our phones, and we are able to continue to look at what everybody else is saying on the planet, but spend a little bit more time with ourselves and think a little bit more about the ways in which we would like to continue to move forward in our lives. And the last thing I'll share, the fourth idea as we move into 2025, and this applies a little bit to politics, but I'm going to apply it to much more than our partisan tribes, is to find ways to heal wounds and to build a sense of civility. This is not something that is unique to the United States. In fact, if you're listening anywhere in the world, I'm sure you would agree that as societies, as cultures, we have moved into the state of incivility and into a state of extremes. And again, this starts by turning off social media, because one of the greatest flaws behind the algorithms that drive social media is that they are designed to fuel histrionic, inflammatory comments and posts. It's intended indirectly to amplify the extreme ends of every aspect of our society and our culture. It's not doing this because it is trying to form divides in our society, but because that's what actually ends up driving the most amount of advertising revenue, because it encourages individuals. It encourages us to spend more time there. It, as these algorithms have found, has actually led to us spending more time on these platforms, driving outrage. It actually helps us, or it incentivizes us to continue to spend more time on social media, and has a vicious cycle. So instead of spending time on social media, find a local group. It could be religious, it could be at your church, synagogue, mosque, place of worship. It could be secular, it could be a competitive sport, a club, an organization, a social group, and spend time with other people of various different, not just diverse backgrounds and ethnicities and religions, but also points of view, and take time to actually stop talking about politics and spend more time talking about other things, because this is how we heal wounds, this is how we build civility, and this is how we create and move towards a better society. Extends beyond your tribe, talk to one another, and spend less time talking about politics and more time talking about other things. I know this is one of those places, I brought up politics twice now, that we do not discuss politics, but still, as we look back, obviously politics is still a big part of my life, and it's something that I've had to think about, while it's still a point of interest to me, how to make it not just 24/7, 7 days a week about politics, because it has continued to infiltrate every aspect of our life and our culture. And a lot of it goes back to finding those common local groups, or even groups that are online, that extend beyond political circles and extends to more common interests. And as I said, I wanted to conclude this episode by sharing a quote from a relatively obscure movie, but it still is in the Disney sphere. Before I do that, I also want to encourage all of you, sorry to plug this during the holidays, but I mentioned Patreon. Definitely, if you haven't done so yet, you can create a free account. You don't need a credit card to sign up. Of course, if you do join one of our subscription options, there are benefits that come with that, and it all goes to help support the show. But you don't have to do that level. You can just join for free with your email. You get a lot of bonus content. You get to spend a little bit more time away from social media. And I have a bonus episode there right now with a listener Q&A I received. I think I mentioned in that Q&A about 40, 50 questions, but we only got to about 15, 20 of them. I answer the rest of them, or as many of them as I possibly can. So if you want even more Disney-like content, be sure to head there. And now for concluding this episode with that quote that I mentioned, and this comes from Noelle. I happened to show this movie to Maggie a few weeks ago as we moved into the holiday season. She had never seen it before. I remember seeing it when it first appeared on Disney Plus as a Disney Plus original movie starring Anna Kendrick, and it's definitely a great holiday film. I love how it's a little bit different than the others, but still hones in on that core Christmas spirit, because it is a Christmas movie. But there's a speech that Noelle gives towards the end of the movie, and I just wanted to share that for you here. I used to think Christmas was the best day of the year, presents and caroling, but I met people for whom it isn't the best day, because it reminds them they don't have enough food to eat or a place to live, or maybe even someone to share the day with. And it got me thinking, for thousands of years we've jingled bells and delivered toys, and the world just gets more awful and miserable. So what's the point? But I also met a girl at a shelter who drew these beautiful pictures, and her Christmas wish wasn't for herself. It was for her mother to be able to find a job. And I met a woman at a marketplace who worked so hard to fill Christmas with fun and music, even though she knew she might not have anyone to spend it with. And I met the sweet, wonderful boy who has this big heart, and his father who doesn't even believe in Christmas, but made sure he could be home for it. We have this list of nice people from Hong Kong to Houston doing wonderful, selfless things. And I know Christmas can't solve all our problems, but it gives us hope. It inspires us to be nice. That might not seem like much, but when someone's sad or just lonely, it can be the biggest thing in the world. And presents are part of it. I like presents as much as anybody, okay, more. But now I think it's not just about the presents we get, it's about the presents we give, the presents of love and understanding. And so as we move into the holiday season, into the new year, I hope you continue to find ways to give others the presence of love and understanding, to do the same for yourself as well, because sometimes we're our own harshest critic, to give yourself that presence of love and understanding and kindness. And I thank you so much for creating such a great season 8 here in Imagination Skyway. And I look forward to season 9. We're going to start off with a terrific episode. I can't wait for you to hear. But I thank you so much, as always, for listening to Imagination Skyway. And remember, if we can dream it, we can do it.